Hello, Shirebrook. This is Sylvester from SHIREBROOK247.com, and today I've got something new for you. In this episode, you'll hear a conversation between two artificial intelligence bots discussing the latest article from Shirebrook's favorite blog. The article itself is a bit different from my usual pieces, so I thought it deserved a different kind of podcast too. Please forgive the occasional AI stumble. It's a young technology and far from perfect, but I think this exchange offers a completely fresh perspective on my words and beliefs. The best way to enjoy this podcast is to read the article first, then listen to the AI discussion about it. You can find it on SHIREBROOK247.com under the title Man in the Pit, the Shirebrook Statue. To make the video more aesthetically pleasing, I added some pictures and animations created by me with Midjourney AI and other AI apps. Enjoy listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Okay, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling something pretty intense. It's a deep dive into, well, maybe the most opinionated piece of art criticism we've seen in a while. It focuses on a public statue in Shirebrook Market Square. It was meant to honor local mining history.
Right, standard stuff for a local monument.
But this writer we're looking at argues its meaning has completely flipped, turned into something else entirely, something much more volatile.
Yeah, and the source itself is unusual. It's from a political and local events blog.
Right.
And the author did something interesting. So it's not just commentary. It's this really passionate attempt to frame this local statue as high art, using a very aggressive and structured argument.
And that structure, that framework is what we're following today. Our mission is really to unpack the author's argument. It's controversial, definitely passionate that this statue isn't about the past anymore. But it's actually a critique of the modern world, specifically the modern working class man.
It kicks off with this really strong stance on art itself. The author says, quote, "Real art is never linear in meaning."
Meaning if it doesn't change over time?
Then it's just decoration or, a historical marker. For it to be high art, it has to change and twist its meaning across time, decades, centuries even.
That feels like a massive standard to set for, a statue in a town square.
It is.
They mentioned Tolkien, Shakespeare, Monet, Chopin, giants. Why put this Shirebrook statue in that company? What's the link?
It's all about enduring interpretation for this author. They argue we keep revisiting the greats because we find new meanings, relevant meanings, long after they created the work.
Right.
So they're basically making this bold claim that the Shirebrook statue is already doing that. It started evolving, adapting to what people feel now. It's about its potential power, maybe not its current fame.
And this high standard carries over into the ethics of public art too, right? The author feels really strongly that art needs to be free.
Oh, absolutely. Fundamentally free. If you need to pay to see it, an entry fee or whatever, it stops being art.
And becomes,
in their words, trade, a tax scheme, a business, a dirty, filthy cash grab. Pretty strong language.
Yeah, no kidding.
They draw a very clear line. The artist should be paid well for the work, definitely. But the public has to see the result freely, in the open.
And the Shirebrook statue meets that condition. It's out there in the square.
Exactly. Which, for the author, gives it the moral high ground to evolve, to take on these new meanings.
There's also this almost reverence for the act of sculpting itself. They call getting this statue built historic, especially now when maybe tearing down statues gets more attention than putting new ones up.
Yeah, they definitely see sculpture as this sort of neglected art form.
Which leads into this contrast they draw with what they call easy art. And they get pretty sarcastic here.
They really do. It's quite pointed.
Okay, let's lay it out. They're pretty dismissive of other disciplines.
Wildly dismissive. Modern painting. Just hold a crayon and talk bollocks in a sophisticated tone. That's a direct quote.
Wow. Okay. And writing.
Needs only paper, a pen, and an overinflated sense of self-worth.
Ouch. Photography.
Point, click, add a filter. Basically, they see these as having, low barriers to entry. Very easy to produce.
Is the author seriously just writing off almost all modern art as talking bollocks? I mean, that feels incredibly reductive.
It is, but I think it serves their argument. It's there to make sculpture look even more profound, more demanding.
Right, the blood and sweat art.
Exactly. It's a physical battle with the material, stone, metal, whatever.
Yeah.
Using basic tools, hammers, chisels.
And the key thing is, every mark is permanent.
That's the core of it. Every strike is final. No undo. It demands incredible precision, patience.
A soul-grinding obsession, they called it.
Yeah, just to get one feeling across.
Yeah.
And that physical struggle, that permanence, becomes really important later when they talk about sacrifice.
Okay, so the author sees this statue as this profound, evolving, physically demanding piece of art worth serious contemplation. Which brings us to how they say you should appreciate it, not just a quick glance.
Definitely not. You have to really look. That's the instruction.
And it's more than just looking closely, right? It's about when and how you look.
Yes, exactly. It's experiential. You have to go back again and again, different times of day, midday glare, sunrise calm, different weather, sunshine, sudden rain.
And this is crucial. You see it differently depending on your state of mind.
Right. If you're relaxed and happy, maybe it's just a historical thing. But what if you see it when you're exhausted, bone tired, wondering if you should shower or just collapse, as they put it?
How does it change them?
The claim is it hits very differently. It stops being just about history out there and becomes about your own exhaustion, your own anxieties right now.
Ah, so it reflects your inner state back to you.
If you look long enough and often enough, yes, that's the idea. Through lived experience.
And it's through this process, this repeated deep looking, that the author finds the key to the statue's new meaning. They call it the significant element.
This is pivotal to their whole interpretation.
How do they define that, the significant element?
It's a small detail, often something you'd easily miss. A texture, maybe, or an object the figure holds, a fold in clothing, a gesture, something that seems minor.
But isn't.
Exactly. It holds this huge emotional or symbolic weight. They have a great phrase for it. A tiny, simple key to a complicated lock.
And finding this key unlocks the whole thing. It changes the meaning.
Right. And the author implies the sculptor might not have even put it there consciously. It just emerged.
So the author admits, at first they just saw the mining tribute?
Yes. The first few visits, that's all it was. History.
So what changed? What was the moment?
It was deliberately shifting perspective. Instead of just looking at the minor figure, they tried to see what the miner was looking at within the sculpture's world. And the new meaning just slapped me in the face like a ton of bricks. Their words again.
Wow. And that moment connects back to their philosophy about public art, doesn't it?
Perfectly. It validates the idea that the artist loses control once the work is public.
Quote, "The artist loses the power to control its meaning. From that moment on, it belongs to everyone."
Exactly. That transfer of ownership, as they see it, is what lets the author claim this statue for the modern day, regardless of what the artist intended or what the original plaque says.
Okay, and this is where we absolutely have to stress the next part. Chapters 4 and 5 in the source. This is the author's specific, highly controversial, politically charged take from their blog. We're just reporting on it impartially.
Absolutely. Critical point. We are relaying the source's argument, not endorsing it.
So the author argues the statue is no longer about the historical miner. It's about the modern man.
Yes. The man with the pickaxe becomes a symbol for the, quote, so-called toxic male, whom the author sees as essentially a slave in darkness, doing the hard, necessary work that keeps society going, but feeling completely unappreciated for it now.
And they use the physical setting of the statue to make a point about society.
That's right. A sharp contrast.
Yeah.
The man is toiling down below, doing work the author claims women won't even touch. But it's essential work. And then above him, conceptually, there's femininity basking in the sunlight. Elevated, maybe surrounded by laughter, but perceived by the author sometimes as complaining
Or what?
or spitting on us with the furious blindness of modern-day feminism. Again, quoting directly here. Very strong, very bitter language.
It's incredibly polarized. So to justify shifting from a mining memorial to this, they need solid evidence in the statue itself. What's the significant element here? What detail makes this miner a symbol of the modern provider under siege?
It comes down to two physical details they focus on. First, the man is working against a wall that's so steep there's no way to climb it.
Symbolizing.
Entrapment. Being stuck in this cycle of hard labor, providing, with no way out. But the real key, the absolute crucial detail.
The significant element itself.
Yes. It's the texture of that steep wall. When the author looked really, really closely.
They saw what?
Marks of torn, filthy fingernails.
Oh, fingernails. Wow. That's such a small, visceral detail to hang so much meaning on.
But for the author, it changes everything. It's no longer just about a miner using a tool. It becomes a symbol of the modern man clawing at the earth with everything he's got.
Literally tearing his fingers open.
Yes. Working through blood, pain, or the sweat, just to give his family, women, and children a better life. That texture becomes proof for the author,
Proof that the modern man is here to work and bleed, to trade sweat, blood, and silence.
while feeling hated, dismissed, forgotten,
Yeah.
diminished. And they specifically point fingers at institutions like the BBC and The Guardian as promoting this view.
So this reading, this interpretation of contempt, leads the author straight into comparing historical miners with today's generation. And again, just to be clear, we're reporting the author's view from the source.
Right, and it's a provocative comparison. They argue that the past miners actually had it easy.
Easy compared to now.
They list things like good pensions, cheap education, cheap housing, cheap everything. And importantly, loads of work and opportunities, loads of money. That's their picture of the past miners' era.
That's a pretty bold claim about the past, minimizing the hardship of historical miners to amplify today's perceived struggles. What do they say today's working generation faces instead?
The list is grim: contempt, rejection, high costs, and low wages. And they specifically mention an era of mass immigration and high costs as context.
Okay.
So this contrast is used to argue the statue's meaning has to have evolved. It's left history behind.
So the statue isn't just for the history books anymore, it's for right now.
Exactly. That's the final synthesis of the argument. This statue is now claimed by the author, not just for the miners of old, but for every, quote, hardworking, forgotten, despised, depressed man who sacrifices himself quietly to provide for others.
And the message isn't asking for pity.
No, not at all. It's about stoicism, resilience. The ultimate demand is no complaints, no whining, just work. The figure in the pit embodies those who give everything and get, in the author's view, only contempt.
And the piece ends with a warning, doesn't it, aimed at the next generation?
Yeah, a very somber warning. It's laced with bitterness, really, about not being appreciated.
What's the gist of it?
It's defiant. Don't forget what we gave. Carve that mountain with our bare hands, with our blood, with our dirty fingernails.
A powerful image.
And the tragic kicker is that, despite all that sacrifice, what they feel they got in return was contempt. That's the final echoing word. It really drives home the emotion behind the whole analysis.
Wow, what a journey that deep dive was. Seriously unexpected. We started with, a pretty standard historical statue.
Honoring local industry.
Yep. And through the eyes of this one very passionate writer, it became this detailed political statement, all hinging on one tiny detail.
Those torn fingernails. It's amazing how much weight that single texture carried for this author, enough to completely reshape their understanding of a public monument.
It really shows that interaction between art and the person looking at it, doesn't it? How personal meaning can become.
Absolutely. Especially with public art, when you filter it through your own experiences, maybe your own frustrations or societal anxieties, it pulls the meaning away from the artist's original idea.
And puts it squarely in the viewer's lap, their state of mind right now.
Precisely.
So what does this mean for you listening? If the artist really does lose control, if the audience's feelings now can dictate meaning, well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden messages might already be getting carved into our newest statues and monuments? Messages born from today's frustrations, today's sacrifices, just waiting.
Waiting for someone else to find that significant element, that tiny key.
Exactly. Waiting for the next passionate observer to come along and claim it, to give it a whole new, unexpected meaning. Something to maybe think about next time you walk past a statue in a public square.